Cell, the unit of life. Okay. The cell, a cell, the unit of life. Biology, detailed description, appearance, form. Bio means living, logy means study. Diversity of life linked to each other, non-living, inanimate. Okay. What is cell? Compartment, to separate internal environment from external. Boundary, lipid, that is phosphobilayer, called cell membrane or plasma membrane. Requirement for cell. Requirement for cell. Boundary, cell membrane, genetical material, DNA, cell organelles, compulsory ribosomes, entry-exit point, channel, substance removed in or out. Entry-exit point, substances removed in or out. Genetic material, DNA. Boundary, cell membrane. Genetic material, DNA. Boundary, cell membrane. Cell organelles. Okay. Requirement for requirement for requirement for requirement for requirement of a cell. Boundary, genetic material, cell organelles, and exit and entry point. Cell membrane is present in all living organisms. Living cells have cell membrane. Dead cell does not have cell membrane. Okay, cell membrane present in all living organisms. Cell membrane present in all living organisms. Dead cell does not have cell membrane. All cells have genetic material. Cell, fundamental unit of life, structural and functional unit. Proof, presence of unicellular uh, organisms, amoeba, independent living. Anything less than a cell does not ensure independent living. Mitochondria, inside cell, form functional. Mitochondria, inside cell, functional, outside cell, non-functional. Discovery of cell. Robert Hooke, bark of a tree. Observe, saw honeycomb structure. That cell. A.V. Leeuwenhoek, observed first living cells. Robert Brown discovered nucleus. Z. N. Ramachandra gave Ramachandra plot, found triple helix structure, determined protein structure, work on collagen. Okay. Anything less than cell does not ensure independent living. Mitochondria inside the cell, living or outside the cell, non-living. Discovery of cell. Robert Hooke observed bark of a tree, saw honeycomb structure called dead cell. A.V. Leeuwenhoek observed first living cell in pond water. Robert Brown discovered nucleus. Okay. Robert Hooke, Robert Hooke, A.V. Leeuwenhoek, Robert Brown. Robert Hooke in 1965 observed bark of a tree like honeycomb structure called dead cell. A.V. Leeuwenhoek in 1674 first observed living cell in pond water. Robert Brown in 1831 discovered nucleus. 1665, 1674, and 1831. Okay. Z. N. Ramchandra gave Ramchandra plot, found triple helix structure. Okay. Z. N. Ramachandra gave Ramchandra plot, found triple helix structure, determine protein structure, work on collagen. Determine protein structure and work on collagen. Found triple helix structure, determine protein structure and work on collagen. Determine protein structure and work on collagen. Determine protein structure and work on collagen. Cell theory, Sladen, German botanist, observed plant tissue. It was composed of cell. Swan, German zoologist. Cells have outer thin layer known as cell membrane. Cell wall being unique to all to plant cell. Hypothesis, both plants and animals are made up of cells and its product. All living organisms made up of cells and its product. Drawback, Radolf Virchow in 1855. Cell divides and form new cells. Okay. Discovery of cell in 1665. Robert Hooke observed bark of a tree like a honeycomb structure called death cells in 1674. In 1674, Leeuwenhoek first observed living cell, and in 1831, Robert Brown discovered nucleus. Ramchandra gave Ramchandra plot that found triple helix structure, determined determine protein structure and work on collagen. Cell theory, Sladen and Swan. Sladen, German botanist, and Swan also German, not what, oh yes. Sladen, German botanist, and Swan, German zoologist. Sladen, in 1838, observing plant tissue, it was composed of cells. In Swan, in 1839, cells have outer thin layer known as cell membrane. Cell wall being unique to plant cell. Okay. Hypothesis, Swan hypothesis, both plants and animals are made up of cells and its product. Both together, all living organisms made up of cells and its product. Sladen and Swan, cell theory, Sladen and Swan. Sladen in 1838 observed, Sladen was a German botanist, observed plant tissue that it was composed of cells. Swan in 1839. Cells have outer thin layer. Cell have outer thin layer called known as cell membrane. Cell wall being unique character to plants only. Drawback of Sladen and Swan theory. Origin of cell. Rudolf Virchow in 1855. Cell divides and form new cells. Okay. Uh, in Sladen and Swan theory, they cannot determine the origin of cell. Cell divides and form new cells. Cell theory modified. All living organism made up of cells and its product. Cell arises from pre-existing cells through division. Okay. Slade and Swan. General structure of prokaryotic cells. Glycocalyx made up of mucopolysaccharides, carbohydrate cover. Glycocalyx made up of mucopolysaccharides, carbohydrate cover. Glycocalyx capsule, slime layer. Glycocalyx, smooth, thick. Okay. Ability to causes disease. Rough, loose, thick. Prevent vesiccation. Eukaryotic cells. Cell theory modification. Okay. Flagella, glycocalyx, cell wall, cell membrane, membrane, inclusion bodies, storage body, pili, plasmid, nucleoid, pigments, chloromatophores, ribosomes, mesosomes. Okay. Cell envelope is made up of glycocalyx, cell wall, and cell membrane. Glycocalyx is made up of mucopolysaccharides. Its glycocalyx are two types: capsules and slime layer. Smooth, thick, ability to cause disease. Capsules are smooth and thick. They have ability to cause disease. Slime layer, rough, loose, sticky. Prevent vescination. Okay. Glycocalyx is two types. Capsules and slime layer. Capsules are tough and smooth, smooth and thick, not tough. Smooth and thick, ability to causes disease. Slime layer is rough, loose, and sticky. Prevent vescination. Cell wall, peptidoglycan, chain of amino acids, polysaccharide, NAG, and acetyl glucosamine, and NAM, and acetyl murmuric acid. Modification modified sugar plus amino acids plus acetic acid, NAG. Okay, numeric acid. Okay. Link with the help of cross linkage, glycosidic bond. Role of cell wall, hardened, rigid, cell membrane, quasi-fluid. Okay, cell wall, hardened, rigid, and quasi-fluid, neither solid nor liquid. Provides shape, provides structural support, prevent from osmotic bursting. It prevent the collapse the cell. Provides shape, provides structural support, prevent the osmotic bursting. It prevents the collapse the cell. Cell membrane made up of lipid bilayer, that is phospholipid. It is structurally and functionally similar in both eukaryotes and prokaryotes. It is structurally and functionally similar in both eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Semi-permeable, only allow movement of solvent. Selectively permeable, movement of solvent along with specific solute. Okay, only allow movement of solvent. Selectively movement of solvent and along with specific solute. Yeah, isomeric. Types of bacteria on the basis of shapes: Coccus, Spirillum, Vibrio, and Bacillus. Coccus, spherical, spiral, Spirillum. Comma shape, Vibrio, and rod-like cell, Bacillus. On the basis of thickness of cell envelope, gram positive and gram negative. Cell envelope thick, cell wall thick, gram positive bacteria. Cell envelope thin, cell wall thick, gram negative bacteria. uh, Christian gram bacteria, crystal violet stain fixer, stain remove acetone, stain retain gram positive loss. Okay, bacteria have crystal violet stain fixture, stain removed by acetone. Cell surface structure: flagella, fimbriae, and pili. Flagella, thread-like extension of cell, helps in motility of cell. Cell flagella motile. Cell flagella okay. Cell flagella present motile. Cell flagella absence non-motile. In prokaryotes, flagella made up of flagellin protein and three parts: basal body, hook, and filament. Flagella is also present in it but different. Okay. Fimbriae. It has brush-like, bristle-like appearance, more in number, role, help in attachment of bacteria in host or rock. It has brush-like, bristle-like appearance, more in number, role, help in attachment of bacteria to its host and rock. Pili. Tube-like appearance, less in number, plays some role in sexual reproduction. Plays in plays some role in sexual reproduction, made up of special protein pili. Okay, fimbriae is more in number and pili is less in number. Tube-like appearance, less in number, plays some role in sexual reproduction. Formation of conjugated. Okay, made up of a special protein pili. It has brush-like, bristle-like appearance, more in number, role, help in attachment of bacteria to its host. Mesosome, infolding of the cell membrane. Okay, infolding of the cell membrane. It increases the surface area of the cell. Function: perform all the function on cell organelles that cell organelles in perform in eukaryotes. DNA replication, cell division, enzyme for respiration, cell wall formation, help in secretion, DNA distribution to daughter cell. DNA replication, cell division, enzyme for respiration, cell wall formation, help in secretion, DNA distribution to daughter cell. Shape: vesicles, tubules, and lamellae. Vesicles, tubules, and lamellae. Vesicles, tubules, lamellae. Infolding of the cell membrane. It increases the surface area of cell. Function: perform all the functions. Okay, functions. Okay. DNA replication, cell division, enzyme for replication, cell wall formation, help in secretion, DNA distribution to daughter cell, chromatophore, chrome, color, bearing. Similar extension of plasma membrane contains pigment helping photosynthesis, not present in all bacteria, only present in cyanobacteria. Nucleoid or bacterial DNA, circular double-stranded single copy. All genes are present on the nucleoid, so it's called genomic DNA. Okay, nucleoid or bacterial DNA is also called as genomic DNA, present in cytoplasm. Naked DNA, present in all bacteria. Plasmid, circular, double-stranded, multiple copy. Division of plasmid is dependent on nucleoid. Division of plasmid is dependent on nucleoid role. Plasmid confers some unique chromosomal DNA phenotypic character in the bacteria where it present. Example, antibiotic resistance. Not all bacteria possesses plasmid. It is non-membrane bound organelles which is found in both prokaryotes and eukaryotic cell, differing only in type. In prokaryote cell, ribosome remain in association with the plasma membrane. It is granular. Chemically, ribosome made up of RNA plus protein, ribonucleoprotein. Structurally, it is made up of two subunits, smaller 30 and larger 50s. Spadeberg unit. Spade, Seibert unit stands for sedimentation coefficient. Ribosome of polysome translate the mRNA into protein. Ribosome of polysome translate the mRNA into protein. Multiple ribosomes come together on single mRNA, forming polyribosomes or polysomes. Inclusion body, storage body, present in insoluble forms, stores phosphate granules, glycogens granule, cyanoficin granule, gas vacuoles. Okay. Gas vacuole, blue-green algae, purple sulfur bacteria, photosynthetic bacteria, membrane-bound but not made up of lipid. Thus, it is not considered as the a true bound organelle. Okay, membrane-bound but not made up of lipid. Okay, gas vacuoles are not considered as true bound organelle because they are membrane-bound but not made up of lipid. Extension of cell membrane. Cell membrane, they are considered as the cell wall that is bound by single membrane. In case of prokaryotes, extension of cell wall. Okay. The structural and functional unit of living organisms is the structural and functional unit of living or cell. Structural and functional. Identify the incorrect combination from the following options. Sladen, German botanist Sladen. Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. Anton von Leeuwenhoek was omnis cellulae cellula. Schwann hypothesis. Um, mm, a living cell was first seen by living cell. Okay. It was proposed by cell theory was proposed by. Read the following statement and select which of the following are not the postulate of cell theory. Cells differ greatly in size, shape, and activities. All living organisms are composed of cells and product of cells. All living organisms are composed of cells and product of cells. The cytoplasm is the main arena of metabolic activities. Read the following statement and select which of the following are not postulate of cell theory. Okay. All cells arises from A and C. The largest isolated single cell is the largest isolated the largest. Uh, they studied different types of animal cells and reported that a cell has a thin outer layer. Study different types of animal cells. Swarm. Omnicellulare cellular means all animals and plants are made up of cells. Cells are structural and functional unit of cell. New cells are formed from pre-existing cells. All living cells are structural. Chemistry organ. Mismatched pair, tracheids, elongated white blood cell, rounded by concave nerve cells, branch and long mesophyll, elongated, round, branch and long. Among the following smallest cells is how many statements are related to Theodore Sladen Swan, British zoologist, not British zoologist, is a German zoologist. Presence of cell membrane is a thin outer layer. Presence of cell wall is a okay. Observe all plants. Okay. How many? Related to 3. Swan proposed that the bodies of animal plants are composed of cells and the product of cells. His idea was an three no 1 10 3 11 2. Okay, 9 to full. Okay. Bacteria 1, ppl 0.1, virus 0.022, 0.2 millimeter, typical eukaryotic cell 10 to 20 millimeter. A trachite elongated. White blood cell amoeboid. Red blood cell round and biconcave. There is Mitchmeth. Amoeboid. Cell, the unit of life. When you look around, we see both living and unicellular organisms are capable of independent existence and performing essential function of life. These characters talk about the unicellular. Okay, anything less than a complete structure of a cell does not ensure independent living. Hence, cell is fundamental structural. Okay, Anton van Leeuwenhoek first saw and described a live cell. Robert Brown later discovered nucleus in 1831. Okay. 1831, 1774. Sixteen hundred seventy-four. 1674. Okay. Cell theory. In 1838, Matthew Sladen and German botanist examined large number of plants and observed that all plants are composed of different kinds of cells which form tissue of the plants. At about the same time, nuclear. Okay. Swan, German zoologist, studied different type of animal cells and report that cells had a thin outer layer which is today known as the plasma membrane. He also concluded, based on his study on plant tissue, that the presence of cell wall is unique character of the plant's tissue. That the presence of cell wall is a unique plants. On the basis of Swan's proposed hypothesis that bodies of animals and plants composed of cells and product of cell. Sladen and Swan together formulated the cell theory. This theory, however, explain to Rutherford. First, explain the cell divided and new cells are formed from pre-existing cells, omnicellular cellular. He modified the hypothesis. Okay. An overview of cell. The cell of human stick have outer membrane as the delimiting nature of the cell. Inside each cell is dense one structure called nucleus. This nucleus contains the chromosomes which turn contain the genetic material DNA. Cell what have membrane bound nuclei are called eukaryotic, whereas the cell nucleus are called prokaryotic. A similarly matrix called cytoplasm occupies the volume of the cell. Cytoplasm is the main arena of cellular activities of both. Okay, organisms like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi. Prokaryote. The prokaryotic cells lack such membrane-bound organisms. Ribosomes are non-membrane-bound organisms found in cells, both eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Within the cell, ribosomes are found not only in the cytoplasm but also within organelles, chloroplast, mitochondria, and RAF. Okay. Not only cytoplasm but chloroplast, mitochondria, and RAF, endoplasmic reticulum. Animal cells contain another non-membrane bound organelle called centrosomes, which help in cell division. Centrosome non-membrane. Okay, animal cells cells differ greatly in size, shape, and activities. For example, mycoplasma, the smallest cells, only 0.3 millimeter in length, while bacteria could be 3 to 5 millimeter. The largest isolated single cell is the egg of an ostrich. Among multicellular organisms, human red blood cells about 7.0 millimeter in diameter. Nerve cells are some of the longest cells. Cells also vary greatly in shape. They may be this like polygonal, column, cuboidal, thread-like, irregular. Red blood cell. Red blood cell, round and biconcave. White blood cell, amoeboid. Columnar epithelial cell, long and narrow. Nerve cell, branch and long. Tracheit, elongated. Okay, round and oval. Bacon. Trigger. Red blood cell, round and biconcave. White blood cell, amoeboid. Amoeboid. Columnar epithelium, long and narrow. Long and branch. Okay, nerve cell. Long. Mesotracheit, elongated. Round and oval. Okay. Prokaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cells are okay. Pre-existing. Prokaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cells are represented by bacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasma, and ppl. They are generally smaller and multiply more rapidly than eukaryotic cells. They may vary Greatly in shape and size, the four basic shape of bacteria are bacillus, rod-like, coccus, spiracle, vibrio, comma-shaped, and spirillum. The organization of prokaryotic cells is fundamentally similar, even though prokaryotic exhibit a wide variety of shapes and function. All prokaryotes have a cell wall surrounding the cell membrane except in mycoplasma, the fluid matrix filling the cell of cytoplasm. There is no well-defined nucleus. The genetic material basically naked, not enveloped by nuclear membrane. In addition to genomic DNA, the single chromosomal circular DNA, okay, many bacteria have small circular DNA outside the genomic DNA. These smaller DNA are called plasmid. Many bacteria have same circular DNA outside the genomic DNA. These smaller DNA are called plasmid. The plasmid DNA confers certain unique phenotypic character to such as bacteria. One such characters of resistance of antibiotics. In higher classes, you will learn that is plasmid DNA is used to monitor bacterial transformation with foreign DNA. Nuclear membrane is found in eukaryotics. No organelles like the ones in eukaryotics are found prokaryotic cells except ribosome. Prokaryotes have sometimes unique in the form of inclusion. A specialized differentiated form of cell membrane called mesosome is the characteristic of prokaryotes. They are essential in folding of cell membrane. Typical. Okay. A typical eukaryotic cell, 10 to 20 μm, viruses 0.0 to 0.2 μm, PPLO 0.1, typical bacteria 1 to 2 μm. Okay, smallest cell. Prokaryotic cells, okay, typical bacteria. Bacteria 5 to. The shape of the cell may vary within the function of they perform. Prokaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cells are represented by bacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasma, and PPLO. Okay. A specialized differentiated form of cell membrane called mesosome in the characteristic of prokaryotic cell envelope and its modification. Most prokaryotic cells are particularly bacterial cell have chemical complex cell envelope. The cell envelope consists of tightly bound three-layered structure that is the outermost glycocalyx followed by cell wall and then plasma membrane. Although each layer of envelope perform distinct function, they act together as single protective unit. Bacteria can be classified into two groups on the basis of the cell envelope and the manner which they respond to staining procedure developed by gram via those that take up gram strain are gram positive and other that do not are called gram negative bacteria. Glycocalyx differ in composition and thickness among different bacteria. It could be loose sheet called slime layer. It could be loose sheet. It could be loose sheet called slime layer in some, while in other it may be thick tough called capsule. The cell wall determines the shape of the cell, provide a strong structural support to prevent the bacterium from bursting or collapsing. The plasma membrane is selectively permeable or semi-permeable. Semi-permeable means only allow the movement of solvent, but selectively allow movement of solvent along with some specific solute. Okay, this membrane is similar structurally to that of the eukaryote. A special membrane structure mesosome which form. Okay. They also help in respiration secretion to increase the surface area of the plasma membrane. Okay. Leaf membrane also surface structure to the bacteria but do not play a role in motility. Fimbriae is more in number and pili is less in number. Okay. Ribosomes, that is 70s, 50s plus 30s. 15 to 20 nanometer in size. Ribosomes are site of protein synthesis. Several ribosomes may attach to single mRNA and form a chain called polyribosome or polysome. The ribosomes of a polysome translate the mRNA into protein. In Clanchen body, reserved material in prokaryotic cells are stored or in the cytoplasm in the form of inclusion bodies. These are not bound by any membrane system and lie free in cytoplasm. Example: phosphate granules. They are not bound by any membrane system and free in cytoplasm. Phosphate granules, yeah, okay, gas vacuoles found are in algae and green photosynthesis bacteria. What is this? Now time for question practice. Okay. 13. Which one of the following structure help to differentiate prokaryotes, plants, and animals? Prokaryotes. Select the incorrect statement. Select the incorrect statement and with respect to prokaryotes. Okay, select the incorrect statement with respect to prokaryotes. They multiply more rapidly than eukaryotic cells. True. The organization of prokaryotic cells is fundamentally similar. They are quite similar in terms of shape and size. Do not have membrane-bound cell organelles. 3. All of given organisms are prokaryote except all of given organisms are prokaryotes. All of given organisms are prokaryotes except protozoan. 4. Bacteria can be classified into two groups based on difference in cell envelope, inclusion body, ribosome, and cellulose sequence. Oh, one. Which of the following structure is not associated with bacterial cell? Naked genetic material, capsid, peptidoglycan cell wall, chromatophore. Okay. Bacteria, chromatophore. Naked genetic material structure is not associated with. Bacteria have in prokaryotes, genetic material is double-stranded circular DNA with histone protein. Double-stranded circular DNA without histone protein. Stranded linear. Circular. The main difference between gram-positive and cell wall composition. Shape and size. Okay, one. Read the following statements about cell envelope of the bacteria. It is tightly bound three-layer structure. The outermost glycocalyx followed by each layer has a distinct function, but they act as single unit. 4. 21. Read the following statement. It is the extension of plasma membrane into the cytoplasm. This extension informs vesicles, tubules, and lamellae. Okay, this mesosome. A term glycocalyx is used for a term glycocalyx, a layer surrounding plant cell wall of prokaryotic cells, a layer surrounding bacterial cell, outermost layer of animal cell, not animal cell. Surrounding bacterial cell wall, surrounding a layer surrounding plant cell wall. Is cell wall of prokaryotic cells. Read the following. Read the following statement and choose the incorrect option. Beside flagella, villi, fimbriae are also surface structure of the bacteria. Surface structure. Villi and flagella do not play a role in motility. Incorrect. Chromatophore are membranous extension into bacteria, so range in the number of arrangement of flagella. DRESS used to monitor bacterial transformation with foreign DNA. Plasmid DNA. Which of the following is not the function of mesosome in bacteria? Cell membrane formation. Choose the incorrect statement from the following. Cells wall prevent the bacteria from bursting and collapsing. Ribosomes are site of protein synthesis. Villi do not play. Okay, inclusion body are membrane-bound storage. Can use Bacterial resistance to antibiotic is a genetic trait. It is normally carried out by plasmid DNA. The extrachromosomal DNA found in prokaryotic cell plasmid. 23-2. Pili and flagella do not play flagella. Piline flagella? Flagella. Flagella present motile. Okay. Pili flagella ও ফিমব্রে থেকে Seventeen to capsid and 13 to central. How many of the following organisms do not have try 10 17 try bigger. How many of the following organisms do not have nuclear membrane? Yeast, fungi, bacteria. Yeast, fungi, bacteria, mycoplasma, blue-green algae, Chlamydomonas, amoeba. Yeast হব yeast হব blue-green algae হব amoeba হব mycoplasma 1 2 3 4 5 29 3. In bacterial cell, ribosomes are associated with plasma membrane of the cell, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria. Plasma membrane of the cell. 31. Gas vehicle is present in blue-green algae, purple photosynthesis bacteria, green photosynthesis bacteria. 4. 32. Which of the following structure represent the membranous extension into the cytoplasm of prokaryotic cell containing pigments? So the following structure represent membranous extension. Chromatophore. True. 3. Identify the wrongly matched pair. Pili, elongated surface structure made of a special protein. Pili, elongated surface structure made up of, okay. Polyribosome, mRNA with many ribosomes. Inclusion बड़ी membrane bound, non-living storage granules, membrane bound 3 है. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Okay. हेलो गाइस, तो मेरा बैटरी थोड़ा लो हो गया है. मैं थोड़ी देर चार्ज दे के फिर आ जाऊंगी, ठीक है? अभी के लिए मैं अपना लाइव इधर स्ट्रीम कर रही हूँ, एंड कर रही हूँ.